Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Friday. You have made it to the end of the week. Your reward is 3 hours of sports talk this afternoon on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. However you're tuning in, whenever you're tuning in, thanks so much for being part of the audience today. It's great to have you aboard on a Friday. We're going to have a funky good time on this edition of 580 Sports Talk because it is a Red Friday. Our first one of the preseason. The Chiefs open preseason action tomorrow night against the Arizona Cardinals. So we've got plenty of football to talk about. Even if it is fake football, it is still football. to talk about on the show today. I'm Dan Lucero. That's Brendan Wrzinski. He's in today. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Man, I've had a day. Had to do daddy daycare today. Daycare was closed, so had to watch Asher today, and he was a bit of a pill at times. I'm not going to lie to you. He was every bit of 14-month-old at times today. So we had some good moments. We had some moments in which I questioned my fitness to be a parent. You know how it goes.
Oh yeah. I know how it goes.
It was a roller coaster today, but got him dropped off with mom at work today for the last little bit of time. She's got to be up there, and I'm back in the box, and we got a show prepared, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna get her done on this Friday. Spencer Dupuis will be along later on the show today. The gang will all be here for a good portion of today's show. And there's lots of football to talk about. Brendan, the preseason opened last night. Do you know when when your favorite team plays their preseason opener?
I believe we are tonight.
We is acceptable because you are an owner of the Green Bay Packers.
That is true. One of the rare times when we is okay, it is tomorrow. See, I thought it was Chiefs tonight and Packers tomorrow. So when I realized the Chiefs are tomorrow, I figured, it's Packers. Wrong. Yeah. Incorrect.
We were talking about this yesterday. I didn't know the Seahawks had their preseason opener until like 6 hours before they kicked off.
I watched a little bit of it, and then I saw Drew Lock throw a bad against the grain interception to the sideline, and I thought, hell yeah, football is back.
I had forgotten Seattle had Drew Lock again. That I was reading that. I'm like, is there a different game on? Like, who's he playing for these days? Did he sign? Did he go back with Pete Carroll? No.
Now that would have been funny.
Yes.
If Drew Lock was once again backing up Geno.
Rebuild the 2023 Seahawks quarterback room there in Las Vegas. It would be an upgrade. Aiden O'Connell stinks.
He sucks.
Really bad.
Real bad.
Anyway, the Chiefs open preseason play tomorrow night against the Cardinals. It's a 7 o'clock kick. It's a 6 o'clock pregame show on the Chiefs Radio Network. You'll be able to hear it on our sister station tomorrow night, the big 94.5 Country, as we'll be bringing you Royals baseball here on 580 WIBW tomorrow night. But the Chiefs do open preseason play. So we've got a lot to talk about. What to look for, who to watch for. In particular, this will be a fascinating debut, I think, for all 7 members of the 2025 draft class. We'll talk later on about what we'll be watching for, the important questions about all 7 of those rookies as they prepare to make their Chiefs debuts. We will talk Chiefs with both of our guests today. Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com, will join us at the bottom of this hour. We'll get Matt's thoughts. He's, of course, been at St. Joe throughout training camp. He's gotten to see every practice. He finally did beat Harrison Butker to the practice field the other day. Finally did get one and win the battle to be the first person to the practice field. So we'll have to ask him about how that feeling of victory felt. But we'll get his thoughts on the preseason opener. We will also hear from, but not speak directly with, the voice of the Chiefs, Mitch Holthus, for our training camp reports today, presented by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. Mitch is on a plane, so we can't reach him. But Mitch did send along his checklist for game 1 of the preseason. We'll hear that in the 5 o'clock hour.
I know Mitch gets prep work done on the plane, and that's easier when you're not literally flying the plane. You know, they've got some room to actually do this.
They stopped making the broadcasters fly the planes sometime in the 1980s.
Yes. Mitch might have, Hunt family may have done that once or twice in the 90s. When you prep for a game, like you're going to go call, game of the week on Friday night, do you need to have like solitude around you, or like you got to have the same music on, or I can zone out with a podcast at the desk? Like, do you have to have a very refined space to prep for a game?
I do with the diffuser, the essential oils,
sure,
like a smell of lavender in the air as I do my board. No, that's none of that is true. I write it down and that internalizes it for me. As long as I get it down on paper, that is what is internalizing it for me. And if it is not internalized, I know where to find it because I've been doing my boards the same way for years now. So no, I can be distracted. I can stop in the middle and start again. I do not necessarily need to build a fortress of solitude.
Like, I imagine more than once in the last 9 years, Chris Jones has walked up and bumped him on the shoulder and said, "Mitch, what you doing? What is that? What are you going to say about me?" I'm sure that's happened.
Everybody's fascinated by the spotting board, right? Like,
that is the most true thing. See, like when I'm out doing, did high school or Washburn at a basketball game, whatever, people come up and like, "Wow, you've got a lot of stuff. How do you remember all of this?"
You sure
like,
keep
no,
I
don't. That's why it's here.
Exactly. I love it. How do you remember all of that? As I have a cheat sheet that I spent the whole week putting together. I don't.
Friend, I'm literally holding a gigantic poster board with notes on it.
If I could remember it all, I wouldn't need to make this.
Now, by the third quarter, I remember that Joe Smith is wearing 93 on the other team, and I don't need to look for that.
Mm-hmm.
But do I know that he played one season of high school football at Blue Rapids? No, that's why I wrote it down.
People love looking at your board, and they're just so taken by the presence, the very concept of the spotting board.
See, I do, because you do your entire board handwritten. It's who was Dick Vermeil?
Dick Vermeil's old board that somehow our mutual friend, former sports director Mark Elliott, got a hold of, and Lefty gave me a copy of it, and I have used it since.
So I do a digital one. I type mine out, my chart of the 4-3 defense, 3-4, whatever, the offensive alignment, whatever. I type out the 2 deep and I'll put, heights, weights on it. But then I print it out, I put it on a bigger board, and I handwrite like awards they've won, or they were the MIAA player of the week, or they did this last week, whatever. So I do kind of a hybrid handwritten and printed out.
Mm-hmm.
The first part, the type part, I can do that wherever. Like I can do that pretty mindlessly. When I'm actually writing stuff, though, I need to have some sort of peace because otherwise I will never get it done.
I respect it. There's no right way to do it as long as you have what you need and you remember what you need to remember, or don't, in which case that's why it helps to have it written down in front of you. Anyway, we say all that to say you'll hear from Mitch Holthus, a pre-recorded training camp report coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. Not just a football show today. We are going to talk some baseball. I'm certainly dressed for the occasion. Royals and Twins tonight. First of a 3-game set in Minnesota. And the good news for the Royals is the Twins are a ghost ship of a baseball team after their trade deadline. They no longer have Royal killer Ty France in their lineup. This is a series, one of a few coming up, that the Royals should feel like they are the better team and need to win, because it is time to press the accelerator for the Kansas City Royals. They are beyond the portion of the schedule where treading water is going to cut it. The rest of the way, they got to press on the gas. That's the good news, that they can do that against this version of the Twins. Here's the bad news. The boogeyman is on the mound tonight for the Minnesota Twins. Joe Ryan, the one pitcher in Major League Baseball who absolutely unequivocally owns the Kansas City Royals. And, Ryan's good. It's not like he's some bum. He's an all-star. So it's not as bad as, if it were, I don't know, if, Chris Paddock just had you over a barrel every time you saw him. But it is undeniable. Joe Ryan owns the Kansas City Royals. So how do they fix that? How do they get better against Joe Ryan? We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show as well. So we got some baseball, plenty of football, of course, plus our typical Friday shenanigans, a little on second thought, some change my mind. We'll crown a weekly champion on what is wrong with you. We have our 580 Sports Talk headlines at the 5 o'clock hour as well. Plus your commentary. We want to hear from you on the show today. Hit us up on the text line, 785-272-9429. You can also get at us here. If you are watching on the YouTube chat or watching on the YouTube stream, you can get at us in the chat. Again, the name of the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. Go subscribe. Have you seen, Brendan? We are getting ever closer to that 800 subscriber mark.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
It's really awesome.
I've been working out. I've been lifting my kid regularly to get the old right arm. I'm right-handed, so it's always more comfortable doing stuff with the right. But I noticed the other day, I literally only hold my kid with my right arm. Like, I'll switch to the left momentarily, and this is uncomfortable. And I switch back to the right. So this forearm is getting some work.
So I'm obviously I'm left-handed, and I carry my son in my left arm on my left side more often. We may have
strength
to go
versus strength.
Yeah, we may have to go right hand and a left hand match.
I think we will. I don't know what the hell we'll do for a tiebreaker.
Yeah, if there's a tiebreaker, no idea. But we will arm wrestle on camera on an episode of 580 Sports Talk when we get to 800 YouTube subscribers. So if you're not a YouTube subscriber, you can be one of the heroes who helps us get there today by subscribing to the YouTube channel 580 Sports Talk. And if you're watching on YouTube, hop into chat, won't you? And say hello and interact with us and interact amongst yourselves and build that 580 Sports Talk community. A good afternoon to Vance, Paul, Ryan, Mark H., and everybody else who will hop into the chat throughout the day. Typically before a Chiefs game, you know how we get down on a Red Friday. We give you our keys to the game. We give you a prediction. We give you a big Chief pick. We're not doing keys to the game for the preseason. We're not doing a big Chief. We're not doing a prediction because the results and all of that could not matter any less, particularly for this dynastic version of the Kansas City Chiefs. The only thing that really matters at the end of Saturday is that everybody important is still healthy. But that does not mean that there is not some intrigue with the first preseason game. So I posed the question today. What's one aspect that you are interested to watch and one individual player that you are most interested to watch? I'll start. I'll give you the one aspect, the one side of the game that I am the most interested to watch on Saturday night when the Chiefs take on the Cardinals. I'm curious what the running back rotation looks like and what the usage patterns are for the running backs. We expect Isaiah Pacheco is going to be the starter. I think he'll probably run with the ones and they'll get him out of there. I don't think they need to see a lot from Isaiah Pacheco. So it's beyond that. Do we see a lot of Kareem Hunt, or is his role as the short yardage back pretty well established? How much Elijah Mitchell do we see? How much Brashard Smith do we see? And when it's third down and you need somebody in the backfield alongside the quarterback, who's that going to be? We talked yesterday on the show, Jesse Newell in The Athletic, that'll take some getting used to say. Jesse Newell, of course, the new Chiefs beat writer at The Athletic, no longer with the Kansas City Star. But Jesse Newell.
Congrats to our guy, Jesse, by the way.
Big congrats to Jesse. Jesse over at The Athletic suggested that the Chiefs might still be looking for the third down back for their offense. That piece that can be what Samaje Perine was last year and what Jerick McKinnon had been in years before that may not be on the current roster. And if you recall, Samaje Perine wasn't on the camp roster last year. He was a pickup after he got cut by the Broncos when they pared down to 53. Chiefs picked him up. So how do the Chiefs deploy third down running backs? And are they looking for a solution, or have they kind of made up their mind that the guys they have, they don't really have the guy they're looking for that particular role? So the running back rotation, usage, and then like burst, like here in Elijah Mitchell isn't showing a lot of it in camp. Do we see it on the field? Do we see it in a game situation? What does Brashard Smith look like at game speed? Definitely fascinated by the running back room on Saturday.
I'm with you on that. And that really ties into, for me, the like fringe offensive playmakers. And let's just start with the running backs room here. There's a couple different things. There's different ways to tell like who's safe, who do you need to see more from, who is definitely not making the team during training camp. If we see Okay. If we see Brashard Smith, for example, because he's who I kind of have in mind here. If he goes out and he plays a couple of drives and he's done by the middle of the second quarter, you know what that tells me? He will be on the opening day roster. He is going to be on the opening day roster if he only plays the first half and nothing beyond that. Now, given the depth that running back, not great depth, but it is depth in front of him in the running back room, that might not be the case regardless, because somebody has to play running back. And I don't think we're going to see a ton of Pacheco. I don't think we might not see any Kareem Hunt, frankly, except for 1 or 2 carries just to get him out there, because there's no need to see what Kareem Hunt is at this point, frankly. And given what his role is going to be, you don't really want him taking more hits than you need, because he's essentially a battering ram. Like, that's his entire job going forward. So there's no point in having him take extra damage. And Elijah Mitchell, that burst, I think you're right on about that, Dan. And Jesse, I thought had some really interesting notes about this room in that piece over at The Athletic. You want to see what he's got in terms of that juice when he gets the ball. But also, this is a guy whose entire career has been marred by, wow, he's talented. It'd be nice if he wasn't made of fiberglass. Like, that's kind of the player that he is. You don't want to see him play a whole lot either. So how much are we going to see from Brashard Young? Or is he going to be out at halftime and we're going to see, Brashard Smith, and then Elijah Young is going to play the whole second half and with Carson Steele? Like, if that's the case, that tells me what Brashard Smith is, and that is a member of this roster, even though it's just the first preseason game. I'm looking at the wide receivers the exact same way. One guy in particular, what do we see from Nico Remigio? Like, is he returning kicks and punts the entire game? Is he getting any wide receiver snaps? Is he getting any wide receiver snaps before the fourth quarter? That usage, I think, for those guys at the bottom of the wide receiver group and running back group, I think that's going to be especially interesting. Elijah Badger, I would include in that wide receiver group as well. He was kind of the talk of minicamp and the OTA periods. Whoa, this kid from Florida, he's got some juice. He's pretty good. Even Tyquan Thornton, I want to see same kind of principle with Smith. How much does he play? If he's off the field by halftime, you got to feel pretty good. Jesse wrote in his piece earlier this week, I mean, he's been as impressive as any wide receiver not named Rashee Rice during camp so far. If he's going to make the team, well, that puts even more pressure, I think, on Nico Remigio. And transitively, as you and I talked about on Wednesday's show up at Prairie Band, that might make it harder on Brashard Smith if he's going to be playing some sort of hybrid running back wide receiver role. So those fringe guys, how much are they playing, and at what juncture of the game are they playing? I think that's the most intriguing for me.
Spencer, not with us right now, but submits what he's most fascinated by will be the opening drive. And I'm fascinated in this sense. I kind of have a feeling that the Chiefs are going to air it out, maybe even on the first play. They're going to call something deep for Xavier Worthy. They're going to take a deep over-the-top shot with one of their first plays.
So you're hearkening back to, what was that, preseason 2018, was it? Mahomes' first as the starter?
First game
in Atlanta.
Dropped back, and he threw that long one to Tyreek Hill. Yep. And it looked like something that if it happened on Madden, you would say this game is too unrealistic.
And we all came in on the following show and thought, so he really can do that, huh?
Are we sure this guy shouldn't be playing? Yeah, it was one of those for sure. So, yeah, I'll be fascinated to see, like, if they do try to go out and prove a point, or if they're just vanilla, which would be more custom for what we usually see from an Andy Reid team in the preseason. How about an individual player? I'll give you one. Let's see if Tyquan Thornton puts a little bit of money behind what has been a really impressive stint with the team, going back to when they picked him up on the practice squad, to what he showed during the summer workouts, to so far this camp. He is a lock. He's making the team. He's wide receiver 6 right now, and I think he is a lock to make the 53-man roster. But, okay, in what capacity are we going to see him? Mm-hmm. Does he get some wide receiver snaps out there with the ones on that opening series with the ones? Does he play in most of his wide receiver snaps in the second half? Is he seen as more of a guy with a little bit of receiver upside, but more of a guy that Dave Toub is trying to mold into his new, like, Darius Fountain? And he's going to be a gunner type and a core special teamer more than he's going to be somebody with an outside shot to contribute to the offense. Tyquan Thornton, a lot of buzz. Some guys just need a change of scenery, and maybe he's one of those, but we get the chance to start seeing what it looks like in a Chiefs uniform for him.
Do we know exactly where the Chiefs want to deploy him? in the wide receiver rotation? Like, do they see him? Do you know? We can ask Matt here in a minute.
Yeah.
Do they see him more as a slot guy? Do they think he's more of a Z?
And that is a good question.
I think that is going to be a fascinating question for him. And it might not matter in terms of will he make the team or not, because when you're talking last wide receiver on the roster, it's just, can you play or not?
Right.
But what sort of packages do they want to use him in? Do they want to use him in a role where, hey, you're going to be the Z until we feel like Jalen Royals is ready in week 12, and then we're going to switch your job and Jalen's going to play more? That's a big question I have for Tyquan Thornton in particular, is just how do the Chiefs want to deploy him? And hopefully Matt Derrick can answer that for us here in just about 12 minutes or so. The player that I'm most interested, the individual player I'm most interested in watching is Omar Norman Lott. He's gotten a lot of hype during camp and some real wow moments. Reading that there's been a little inconsistency, but he's a rookie. I'm not sweating that entirely. He's got the big personality. Again, Jesse Newell wrote about that this week. It kind of reminds you of Chris Jones a little bit. Loves to be the center of attention, big, gregarious personality, loves to be behind the microphone. I'm not trying to make him into the Chris Jones replacement yet, but you are going to need that player eventually, because Chris Jones is not going to play forever, as much as we would love for him to do so. So what are we going to see from him early on? And he'll be a different player in week 18 versus week 1, certainly. Hell, it'd be great if he was so good he didn't even need to play week 18 because the Chiefs had wrapped something up and they needed to keep him healthy. But he'll be a different player end of the year versus start of the year. Rookies almost always are. But what are we working with at the beginning of the season? Like, are we going to have, whoa, this guy is he's clearly got good burst, but once he gets off the line, he has no idea what he's doing? Are we going to see something that's at least a little bit refined and, oh yeah, you see the vision right away? That's what I'm curious about with him. What is sort of the starting point that you're going to get from him? And he's probably DT3, I would guess, right now going, I don't know what he is on the official depth, quote unquote, official depth chart. I think it was Jones and Pennell.
Yeah, Jones and Pennell were your starters, yeah.
That's probably what you're looking at the start of the year, because Norman Lott's thing isn't run defense anyway. But that's the one guy, because I think he's got a really high ceiling, but I would like to see what the starting floor is.
You will stun you to learn that Spencer's submission for this is his guy, Najee Johnson. But I do
That's a great pick.
It is a fascinating pick because it's year 2 from the ACL injury. He was on track to have a chance to start before he tore his ACL 2 summers ago. Has he gotten back some of that athleticism? Because it sure sounds like he's full steam ahead to the 53-man roster, which anybody who watched him last year at his worst maybe wouldn't have guessed that.
Yeah.
Can he get back closer to his best? And again, how often is he playing? Is he playing a bunch of first half snaps or is he playing a bunch of second half snaps? First half snaps are the guys who feel good right now about being on the 53. Second half snaps, those
fighting for a spot.
Those are the guys who are fighting for a roster spot. So yeah, the deployment of Najee Johnson, I think, will be interesting to watch. We'll take our first time out here on 580 Sports Talk. Want to hear from you. Who are you excited to watch in the preseason opener for the Kansas City Chiefs Saturday night? Hit us up on the text line, 785-272-9429, or you can tell us in the YouTube live chat on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We'll take our first break, come back with our Chiefs countdown to kickoff. We've got another retired number for today's countdown to kickoff player. That's next on 580 Sports Talk. Coming up in just a moment, our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, will join us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. Looking forward to our weekly chat with Matt. Mitch Holthus at 5:25, a pre-recorded edition of his training camp reports as well. Today is 28 days until the Kansas City Chiefs kick off the 2025 regular season against the Los Angeles Chargers in Brazil. And the last man to wear number 28 for the Kansas City Chiefs is Abner Haynes, the first great player in franchise history. An original Dallas Texan. Hank Stram said about him, he was a franchise player before they talked about franchise players. He set AFL records with 5 touchdowns in a game, 19 in a season back in 1961, 46 in his career as well in the AFL. Always believed he was traded away from the Chiefs after the 1964 season because he organized a boycott of other black players from the 1965 AFL All-Star Game due to the fact that it was in New Orleans and black players were routinely mistreated by hotels and businesses in New Orleans. The Chiefs sent a letter reprimanding him for his actions and traded him to the Denver Broncos shortly thereafter. But the Chiefs still have him in their Hall of Fame. He is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and his number 28 is retired.
Also cousins with Sly Stone,
which is a very cool fact.
Sick.
Do you know the Will Kick to the Clock story? Is that one that you have had any familiarity with?
Only because I read about it yesterday. I actually did not know about it until just this week.
This is one that I remember reading in a book, like Football's Funniest Stories, or one of those like books for kids that you see when you're like 10, 11 years old and you're just devouring everything at the local library. 1962 AFL championship game in Houston against the Oilers. The Texans won the overtime coin toss. Hank Stram wanted the wind. It was extremely windy at the Houston Stadium, Jefferson Stadium, and he wanted the wind. So he told Abner Haynes, his captain, take the wind. But what Haynes said was, we'll kick to the clock. And by saying we'll kick first, that was his selection. So the Oilers got to take the wind instead. And they got, not only did they get the wind, they got the ball. What was Hank Stram doing giving up the ball in overtime in the first place? This is not Abner Haynes' fault. This is bad strategy all the way around.
Yeah.
Anyway, it ended up not mattering. Nobody scored in the first overtime. And with the wind in the second overtime frame, the Texans kicked the winning field goal to win their first AFL championship. Haynes said after the game, I knew we'd need the wind behind us in the sixth quarter.
That's a good line.
It's a good line.
Great quote.
It's a great story. He's an all-time great Chief, Abner Haynes. 28 days until kickoff. Matt Derrick is next on 580 Sports Talk. We go to Kansas City to our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. He joins us every Friday at this time on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. You can check out his work at ChiefsDigest.com. They've got a YouTube channel as well, Chiefs Digest. And, of course, you can find Matt all across social media just by looking for his name, Matt Derrick. Matt, are you ready for some preseason football?
I mean, aren't we all ready for some preseason football? I mean, it's time.
It is time. You know, it's a cliche, but it's true. And every coach says it. And Andy Reid said it the other day. It does get to be true, this particular cliche. Teams are ready to go and tackle somebody else who isn't on their own team.
100% true. I mean, I know there's a science, and although it's actually much more, I think, of a negotiation than a science, but there's a reason for, training camp and how it all builds up and everything. But I think training camp might be about a week too long before teams start hitting somebody, because this week was a rough week in St. Joe. I think even the players, it's like they're ready for the next step. And so I don't think this preseason game could come soon enough.
It comes tomorrow night at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The Chiefs and the Arizona Cardinals kicking off the preseason. And let's go ahead and dive into what we can expect to see. And I'll start with the first teamers. Andy Reid always says it'll be a quarter for Patrick Mahomes and the first team. It's never a quarter. It's maybe one series, maybe two, depending on how long the first series is. But it's never, quote unquote, a full quarter for number 15. But when we see the starters out there, do you think I've kind of got a sneaking suspicion they might try and prove a point about how explosive they want to be in 2025, maybe air one out? Do you think there's a possibility that happens, or would you expect that Andy Reid and company will go ahead and just keep it close to the vest like they typically do in the preseason?
No, I think you make a really good point. I think there's a reasonable chance that first or second play, Mahomes is just going to drop back in the pocket, see what the protection is like, take a deep shot downfield at somebody. I do. I mean, I think they want to get off to a good start, a positive start. If it doesn't happen, I mean, I don't think they're going to push it too far. I mean, like you said, will the starters play an entire first quarter? I'll be stunned. I mean, I'll probably be stunned if they play a second drive. The last couple of years, I mean, it's been like, I think, six snaps and out. So probably the same thing this year. And it's all about, as far as what the first team plays, it's all about how much do they want Patrick Mahomes play. I mean, you're going to get Mahomes out there, you're going to let him do what he wants to do, and then you're going to get the first team out of there.
As far as the offense goes, one thing I was talking about earlier was the running back rotation and what we're going to expect to see from the top four running backs on the depth chart right now, the guys in camp. Of course, Isaiah Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, and Brashard Smith. There was some speculation from one of your colleagues, Jesse Newell, the new Chiefs beat writer over at The Athletic, that maybe the Chiefs don't have their third down back on the roster right now. If they had to break camp and play a meaningful game, if Saturday was a meaningful game and they had the backs that they had on the roster, who would that third down back be? Fill that role that Samaje Perine and Jerick McKinnon have filled. And is that a role that you feel like their running backs in camp right now filling?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because I've felt the same thing for a while now, that there's just not a clear-cut, definitive third down back on this roster. The skill set wise, I think the best one is Brashard Smith, but just doesn't have the experience, and he's not really an accomplished blocker of any sort. He's had a couple of blocks up in St. Joe, but it's been more just sacrificing the body kind of blocking. Maybe getting a little lucky as far as just maybe the matchup that he got, or how hard the other guy was going. Let's face it. I mean, once you get into the backfield, there's a rule about going after the quarterback. You can't go too hard. Even in the one-on-one drills, just getting his body in front of somebody is about its most effective block. The best of the veterans is probably Kareem Hunt. But again, at this point in his career, is Kareem much of a passing threat? And, is he the best blocker of the group? I mean, that's probably a slim lead that I would say that Kareem is. You would think Elijah Mitchell has a lot of the skill set too, but that's not really a role that he's played. And again, him as a blocker is probably a bit of a challenge. So I don't know that if any one player is going to fill that role this year. It might end up being multiple players. Because I will say, I mean, if you're going to throw the football and you're not going to ask that guy to block a lot on third down, then Brashard Smith is probably your guy.
Matt Derrick is our guest. He joins 580 Sports Talk every Friday at this time for our Chiefs Insider. You can find Matt's great work over at ChiefsDigest.com. Matt, I wanted to continue the conversation here about Brashard Smith. I thought you had a really interesting conversation on your 41's The Mic podcast the other day with your co-host, Nick Jacobs from KSHB. And you asked him about Brashard Smith and his role and how he's going to sort of factor into the running back and wide receiver rotation. One, what do you think his role will be with this team? And two, maybe this should even get answered first, how guaranteed, how locked in is his spot on the 53?
I mean, if he's healthy, I think it's 90% locked in. I mean, obviously a draft pick, so pretty good chance to make the roster. But just looking at how he is used, he is right now, I mean, one of the top 2 kick return specialists for this team. They can see him being an electric player in that role. He and Nico Remigio, probably one of them will be the punt return specialist. So if Nico makes this team, it's him. If Brashard makes the team and Nico doesn't, it's probably Brashard. But where he just really stands out in St. Joe is as a pass catcher. Whether you line him up in the backfield, he starts there. You split him out wide, whatever you want to do. He's an accomplished receiver. There is no doubt about that. He's got great hands, great route running ability. And when you put him into a running back role as a receiver, and then just imagine the matchups that you can get. I mean, if him against a linebacker is a complete and total mismatch for the offense. He can even beat some corners and safeties deep downfield, and especially, maybe out of that running back role. I mean, we've seen him on wheel routes and deep, just streaks down the field. He can get open. His speed is elite, so he's a challenge for anybody. So my hot take for him is that I think he is going to have touches out of the backfield, because even though he has that 1 year as a running back, he is still a work in progress. He might have some really big plays out of the backfield because he gets his hands on the ball and he gets in space. He can absolutely take off, but the patience, identifying the holes in the line and the blocking, even just, running low is still a new concept to him.
Similar question for Tyquan Thornton. Do you think he is a lock at this point to make the roster?
Not quite a lock, but probably close to the same percentage as Brashard is. I mean, I would say he's the 6th best receiver right now. And with the Chiefs likely to at least maybe missing one receiver early in the season, we'll see if the suspension for Rashee Rice comes down. Obviously, you got the question about Hollywood's ankle and how that is. If they're missing one receiver, I think Tyquan Thornton absolutely makes this roster. The bigger question is, everybody's healthy and available for week 1. Does he beat out Nico Remigio? And that, once again, really comes down to special teams. If the Chiefs find a punt returner that they feel comfortable with, then there are options on kick return. If they don't find a punt returner that they like and are comfortable with going into the season, that they can rely on to catch the ball and not create turnovers for them, then Nico probably makes this roster, and Tyquan's got to, squeeze in there somewhere. I mean, will the Chiefs keep 7 receivers? I doubt it. I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't think it's a huge possibility. But I also heard, today, like a comparison, as far as, Tyquan kind of being like Justin Ross. I can't put them in the same category, because I thought honestly, Justin Ross was never as good as Tyquan Thornton has been. And that's just because Justin Ross had highlights. Tyquan's had some highlights, but Tyquan is just a much better, more polished receiver across the board. So I can't get into that comparison, because even though I'll say it, I mean, he's the 6th best receiver on this team, but that's what all he is.
The usage for Tyquan Thornton, I think, is very fascinating. I was going through some numbers during a commercial break earlier, and over the course of his career, he's played about 20% of his snaps out of the slot, and it actually decreased over time. It was 24% down to 19 and down to 11 from 2022 through 2024 in New England. Obviously, last year was a disaster for the Patriots and for Thornton as well. How do you see the usage for Tyquan Thornton? Should he make this team? Is he going to be kind of a half and half outside slot guy? Do you think they like him a lot out of the slot? Do they like him more on the boundary? How would you expect his usage to look?
It's a really good question, and I think his usage would probably be a little bit more on the outside than in the slot. He is a really enigmatic player. When you think about you're thinking about a speed guy, so you're automatically kind of thinking that, hey, he'd be a great returner, just a deep downfield threat. Maybe could be a slot guy because of his size and speed, but really, that seems like the opposite. I mean, he's much more of an outside receiver. I think his best routes are either just straight 9 routes downfield or maybe some deep corners and post. That's where I think, seems most effective. Working underneath, just not quite his game. And then for some reason, I don't know. I mean, Dave Toub just does not seem to be interested in him as a returner. And he didn't really do much returning in New England either. I mean, it's never really been a strong part of his game. So the Chiefs are kind of looking him as the potential gunner than anything else. Really haven't given him many looks as a return specialist. And, that's kind of surprising when, they don't know that Nico Remigio is making this team. And their second most accomplished return specialist at this point is Sky Moore, who probably also is not going to make this team. It just really raises some questions, who is going to return punts for this team?
We're joined by Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest here on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. And Matt, earlier in the show, we had to pick one individual player that we're most interested in watching. I picked my guy, Nazeeh Johnson. Another year back from the ACL injury. He had some not so great tape last year towards the end of the season when he was getting burned a few times. But how much do you think his play during these games matters, or is his spot already locked up on the 53?
I think it matters probably primarily just as far as kind of where he shakes out in the depth chart more than anything else. I think Nazeeh would have to do a lot to lose his job on this team. I mean, I think you've got Trent McDuffie in a category by himself. You have Christian Fulton in a category that you don't really know where to put him. I mean, you kind of pencil him in as maybe your second best corner right now, but he hasn't been on the field, so you really don't know that. Then you've got Jalen Watson and Nazeeh Johnson kind of in their own category. Then you've kind of had another one with Noel Williams and squeezing him in there and saying, like, okay, what's he got? I can't even then bring in Chris Rowland-Wallace because this guy's pretty much a safety at this point and kind of a Chamari Connor backup more than anybody else, as a guy who kind of bounces back between the slot and maybe being a little bit of a safety. And then you get to Josh Williams, who I think is on the wrong side of the bubble line right now. So when you look at the groups like that, I mean, Nazeeh, like I said, he'd have to have a really bad preseason to fall down below Josh Williams. It's just a question of, can he beat out Jalen Watson? And once Christian Fulton comes back, can he beat him out? Or is he going to end up maybe being in a battle with Noel Williams for playing time? I mean, it could go a long ways, but I'm with you. I mean, Nazeeh, a year back from that ACL, looks like a totally different guy than we saw last year in training camp.
Couple more questions for Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com, our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk. All right, Matt, we've told you who we're interested to see. Who are you most interested to watch in their preseason debut on Saturday?
Well, I'll just set aside obvious answers like Josh Simmons and Kingsley Suamataia. Two of my favorite guys, I mean, and just because I love watching the third quarter and fourth quarter during the backups and see if there's some undrafted guys that can pop up. My guys are Cooper McDonald and Brandon George as linebackers. The Chiefs just seem to find these guys out of nowhere that they can coach up and turn into NFL linebackers. They're not going to necessarily be stars. I don't know. Maybe they will be. But Cooper McDonald is just an athletic linebacker with some length that's had a couple of interceptions in camp and it's looked really good. Brandon George is just a huge dude that's just a specimen at linebacker. I'll throw Jeff Bossa in there too, because I think I'm just going to be watching the linebackers a lot in the second half and seeing what they're doing. All three of those guys are interesting for very, very different reasons.
And which quarterback do you think will lead more scoring drives on Saturday? Everybody gets a quarter, remember? So will it be Mahomes? Will it be Minshew? Will it be Bailey Zappi in the third quarter? Will it be Chris Oladokun in the fourth? Which quarterback do you think has the best day?
Man, that is a really good question. I mean, scoring drives, I might give it to Bailey Zappi because I think there's a chance that he might just end up with the most drives overall, and therefore might squeeze out an extra field goal drive there. For best day overall, I'm gonna plunk my money down on Chris Oladokun. He's my preseason guy every single year. I hope he gets enough reps in the fourth quarter. Maybe gets some early drives, but And he might not have the greatest talent around him, but hey, Oladokun can cook. He can get some things done late.
Matt Derrick covers the Kansas City Chiefs for ChiefsDigest.com. He is our Chiefs insider here on 580 Sports Talk. Joins us every Friday at this time. Matt, we appreciate your time so much. Look forward to doing it again next week.
Absolutely. Enjoy the game, everybody.
That is Matt Derrick. We'll step aside for a timeout, come back and wrap up this 3 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. On second thought, to wrap up this 3 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk, I really thought Jonathan Indy would have a better year for the Royals than he has, and it just hasn't worked out for a variety of reasons that India is keenly, maybe all too aware of. I really think moving him down in the order is going to help him, going to help the team a lot. He's batting 7th again tonight for the Royals. I think that's a good move for him.
On second thought, during the 2023 NFL draft, I should have been even more adamant that Anthony Richardson was not going to succeed in the NFL. I know it was one preseason game. That dude can't play quarterback. He has no idea what he's doing. No idea.
Tough.
Every skill in the world, all the talent in the world, he has no idea how to play quarterback.
Tools only get you so far. Spencer?
On second thought, I don't have anything sports related, but I thought the Pickup, the movie on it, Prime with Eddie Murphy and Pete Davidson would be more funny. Funnier. It was not that funny.
Yeah, it's two funny people. Didn't make a very funny movie, is what I've heard. That'll do it for this hour. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll break down the big stretch of the schedule for the Royals. We got What Is Wrong With You. We'll talk more Chiefs on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk, hour number 2 on this Friday. On the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and live on video, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, our Facebook page, WIBW News. However you're tuning in, thanks for being a part. We appreciate you listening to 580 Sports Talk. Hopefully you're inside as you're listening, because it is like a blast furnace outside. Hot and windy. Just a gross day to be outdoors.
Not much better in our studio.
No, it's not. But
hey, it's nice over here.
I bet it is.
The gang's all here, if you couldn't tell. We've got everybody together on this Friday, at least for this next hour. I am Dan Lucero, Brendan Rosinski, and Spencer Dupuis are here as well. So Red Friday. So we're all you're a little more dressed for the occasion, Spencer. That's red-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't on purposely wear it.
Is that more like that's not quite a salmon? That's red.
I'd call it red.
Yeah, red. Yeah, we'll go red there.
I didn't wear it on purpose.
No, but it is a Red Friday. It's first Red Friday because there is Chiefs football tomorrow night, preseason opener in Arizona against the Cardinals. Again, if you want to listen to Mitch Holthus and the crew call that one on the Chiefs radio network, you will need to dial over to our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. Of course, we'll have Royals baseball on 580 WIBW tomorrow night, just like we do tonight. But Chiefs football tomorrow night over on the Big 94.5 Country as they open preseason play. And speaking of Mitch Holthus, we'll hear from him a pre-recorded edition of his training camp reports presented by Azure Credit Union and Hy-Vee coming up at about 5:25 or so. We have Royals baseball tonight here on 580 WIBW. We'll have a little overtime up until 6:30, and then at 6:30, we'll hand it off to the Royals Baseball Network. First of 3 in the Twin Cities as the Royals take on what's left of the Minnesota Twins after their trade deadline purge. First pitch at 7:10 tonight, so pregame coverage 6:30 on the Royals Baseball Network. Hold that thought on that Royals roster purge, by the way. We're going to return to that in a second because we're going to talk some Royals baseball this hour. We're also going to talk some more Chiefs, particularly the rookies. I think that you're always interested to see the members of the draft class in their preseason debuts. So I got one big question for all 7 of the rookies on the Chiefs draft class that we'll talk about heading into the preseason opener. And, of course, a round of What Is Wrong With You as well. We'll crown a weekly champion, see if anybody can take down Operation Bear Claw from yesterday. Want to hear from you on the text line. 785-272-9429 is the number. 785-272-9429. Also, if you are watching our live YouTube stream, we've got the live chat going. Name of the stream, name of the channel, 580 Sports Talk. Subscribe if you have not already. Hop into the YouTube chat and interact with us, interact with the 580 Sports Talk community. You can also watch us on Facebook and comment there, our Facebook page, WIBW News. Greg Akagi's dressed for Red Friday.
That's true.
Yeah, you can see him across the glass. If you're watching on our video, you see Greg across the glass. Seahawks played their preseason opener last night. I didn't watch any of it. I'm not trying to watch Drew Lock play football.
You didn't really even know it was yesterday.
No, I didn't know until yesterday morning that they were playing. I have seen the footage of aspiring photographer Marshawn Lynch shoving one of the Seahawks players out of the way to protect his equipment.
Speaking of Marshawn Lynch, he was in that movie.
Oh,
he made a cameo in that movie. He got shot.
Wow, spoilers.
I'm not even going to watch that.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't know this movie existed.
I haven't watched a movie since my son was born. Maybe some documentaries.
Jalen Milroe, 6 for 10, 61 yards.
Hey, like that.
3 carries for 38 yards.
Uh-oh.
He had the longest play of the day.
Wow. Hey, man, if he learns
27-yard run.
If he learns how to play quarterback, look out. It's a pretty big if, but
that's what I said during the draft. I loved Seattle's draft because other than their first pick, Zabel, who I think is going to be a good player. I like Gray Zabel on the offensive line. Pretty much every player they took could either be an all-pro or out of the league in 3 years. Like Nick Amenwari, maybe the best athlete at safety ever. I don't know that he knows how to play football, but like a freak. He's a mutant. Jalen Milroe, incredible athlete at quarterback. I don't actually know that he knows how to play quarterback. Torrey Horton scored.
Yes, he did. Former Colorado State Ram.
Love Torrey Horton.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a really good pro. I really like that pick. We know the Packers open tonight
Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
No, I was wrong earlier.
You were wrong earlier. It
Commanders open tonight.
Commanders are tonight. Who they play?
The Patriots, as a statue of Tom Brady gets unveiled in front of Gillette.
Oh, no kidding. They're doing statue unveil before the first preseason game?
Preseason game?
I think because it might be the only game he could be there for.
That's true.
Oh.
Yeah, Patriots aren't playing a lot of primetime or Monday or Thursday nights. So, yeah, he can't get Brady away from
he can't really get Fox.
Yeah, his essential gig is the color commentator for Fox.
12 feet tall.
Plus, I think Fox might be doing, they do a warm-up preseason game.
Uh-huh.
So that might be the date of their other home game if they have 2 home games for the preseason. So,
yeah,
I was confused when I saw it too.
How much is it going to look like Tom Brady?
I don't know.
Well, how much is it going to look like early career Tom Brady?
Like
late
doughy,
career Tom
like baby
Brady.
fat Tom Brady, and then there's like late career Skeletor Tom Brady.
Yeah, like if it looks like him now, just put up like a character from He-Man. Like that's what he looks like. Like late career, wow, he's handsome and models Uggs Tom Brady. Or
normal looking Tom Brady is what I like to call that
pudgy
version.
Kid Tom Brady. Like, oh yes, you were a catcher. I forgot about that.
There's the 6th round pick Tom Brady. There's the I'm dating supermodels now Tom Brady, and there's the I am incredibly vain and don't eat strawberries Tom Brady.
Got his buckle fat removed.
What era of Brady is the statue going to look like? I think
somehow none of them and all of them at the same time.
Yeah. They're going to put up. It's going to look like Dan Laurier from the Wonder Years.
It might be unveiled before we get off the air today.
I bet it's the current one. I bet he got a word in with Robert Kraft. Was like, hey, can you make sure my cheeks are skinny? Can you make sure it looks like I don't eat? Period.
Yeah, like. Please get the TB12 method version, please.
You think what's his name? Alex Guerrero is going to get like a little side statue,
like a little Easter egg. They got like his name carved into the base of it somewhere. Look for it.
AG in a little corner.
More football to get to in a little bit here this hour, 5A Sports Talk. I want to talk some baseball because the Kansas City Royals are at a stage in their schedule where it's time to hit the gas. The Royals enter tonight's series with the Twins with a 57-58 record. They're 4 games behind New York for a wild card spot. And everybody at the top of the American League is playing really good baseball right now, except for the Yankees. Like the Yankees are the exception. Seattle's playing well. Boston was hot, obviously. Toronto's been hot and creating some separation at the top of the East. Detroit bobbled a little bit in the month of July, but starting to get back on their feet. Houston holding on to that lead in the West for dear life. But being 4 back with now 57 games to go, if my quick math is correct, we're 115 down, so 47 games to go. Time to go win a bunch of baseball games. And this is a sad opportunity for the Royals. You play the Twins, who sold off everybody. You play the Nationals, who stink. Sorry, Spencer. You play the White Sox, who stink, and the Rangers in a 4-game series. And the next 3 series following this one are at Kauffman Stadium. This is the time to go punch the gas, and in these next 13 games, rip off 9 or 10 wins. And then you're right back in the mix. You're where you want to be. I think this team is capable. We've seen them play good ball since the calendar flipped to July. They played pretty well here in the second half. I think they've got the capability to go rip off a 9-4 stretch, which I think really 9-4 is like the bare minimum of what I would think would be really good. 8-5, I don't think is going to cut it. 7-6 is definitely not going to cut it. You got to go win these series, these next 4 in particular.
Yeah, if you have any hopes of making it to the postseason at this point, you need to go 9-4 in the next 13.
That's kind of my thought. Yeah, 9-4 for sure.
I think 9-4 might not be enough, but I think that is the baseline to have a shot over the final less than 2 months now, because the final game is September 28th?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've got a month and 20 days essentially to figure out if you're going to make it. If you cannot go +5 in the next 13 games, I do not think you have a chance, because you have to jump over 3 teams and overcome 4 games. I believe it's still 4. I didn't check the standings this morning.
Yeah, it is 4.
But, okay, it's 4.
And look, like, obviously you play Texas, so you've got some control over passing them. You got 4 with them in your ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland, I still think they have benefited from a weak portion of their schedule, and I think they're going to come back to the pack a little bit. But you got to jump those two teams and one more.
And you got to jump the Yankees.
Yeah.
Which looks a lot more doable these days because they are playing like buns.
I think they could easily take at least 2 out of 3 from the Nationals. I'm kind of, as a Royals somebody that covers the Royals.
Well, they're not going to face Gore, so
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm kind of salty about that because Gore's given up like a zillion runs a game in the last month. They got to face Cade Cavalli, who was like their number one prospect, who had TJ, and he went 4 1/3 and struck out 6 the other day in his return to the majors.
So this has been talking Nationals.
You know what's amazing? The Yankees actually still have the best run differential in the American League, and they are cratering.
Yeah,
they have fallen off a cliff.
Their vibes are horrendous. They got Judge back. Like I still think they've got some better baseball ahead of them, but yeah, it's time to start passing some teams. Yeah. Treading water is over, and it starts with this series with the Twins. How anonymous are the Minnesota Twins? I'm so glad you asked. Want to play a game?
Yes, I love doing this.
Let's play a game. I have on my screen, so you guys better not have on your screens. I have on my screen the current 26-man roster for the Minnesota Twins.
I currently have a picture of 1993 Parker Posey on my screen, personally.
That's a much more pleasant thing to look at than the 26-man roster of the current Minnesota Twins, especially because Byron Buxton is hurt. And Pablo Lopez, who's their best remaining pitcher, is on the 60-day. It's a grim picture, is what I'm trying to tell you. I have the 26-man roster for the Minnesota Twins. I also, on another tab, have the Billboard Hot 100.
Yes. This is my favorite game.
So you're going to play first, Brendan, because I think Spencer is going to come flying in with like, no, wait a minute. That guy's a superstar in country music, and I'm not going to have any idea.
I think the last time
you should be better at this game.
One of the last times we played this, I think it was 2 summers ago, we played Ray's reliever or contestant on Farmer Wants a Wife.
Yeah.
And I think Dan went 500.
Yeah, it was
I believe
really
Dan
hard.
went 500.
It was really, really hard. So anyway, I have the Twins roster. I have the Billboard Hot 100.
Okay.
And we'll go Brendan first and then Spencer with the answers. And then I'll tell you who is correct, if anybody is correct.
I turn my mic off, so I might yell.
Yeah, don't blurt out.
No blurting out. Yeah. Stay. If you're in line to answer, stay in line. Let's begin the game. Alex Warren.
Shoot. That's a Billboard artist.
That would be correct. I know it is. He came out with Luke Combs at Lollapalooza.
He's got the #1 song in America right now.
Yeah, which is it with Jelly Roll?
No. Oh. No, it's his own song.
Oh, yeah, it's Ordinary.
Yes.
Yeah, Ordinary.
So there you go. You guys
wow, I didn't know that you spoke Portuguese.
You guys are both 1 for 1. All right.
I know who Jelly Roll is, though.
Leon Thomas.
Twin.
I'm going to go Twin.
He is currently number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100 with his song Mutt. I've never heard of Leon Thomas. We don't make a lot of Leons anymore. Not a lot of Leons in baseball.
Leon
anymore.
Bridges, I've heard of him.
Yeah, I know Leon Bridges.
Leon Thomas is not a Minnesota Twin. You guys now batting 500. Alan Roden.
Twin.
Alan Roden is a Minnesota Twin. He came over from Toronto in the trade that sent Royal Killer Ty France to the Blue Jays. Alan Roden is an outfielder who has appeared in 49 games this season, is batting 198.
Wow, he rode in on a stink burger. That blows.
More like Alan ride out back to AAA where you belong. Got him. Russell Dickerson.
Oh, that's a musician.
Yeah, it's a musician.
All right, that
country
one.
Music.
He did that Blue Tacoma song.
Yeah,
big deal on the country charts
in 2020.
All right, that's my bad on that. All right, next one. Pearson Ole.
Oh gosh, Pearson Ole. Baseball.
Yeah, I'm going to go baseball.
You are both correct. Pearson Ole has made 3 appearances, 2 starts on the mound for the Twins. He is a rookie right-hander.
OHL?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. All right. I should have known that more quickly.
His last name is a minor league hockey league. The former Grand Canyon, what are they, the Yotes?
No, Lopes.
Oh, they're the Lopes.
Isn't
That's
that
right.
the Ontario Hockey League?
Yes, that would be the all right, next one.
I have heard of that guy, though.
Mickey Gasper.
Artist. Shoot. Yeah, all right.
This is where I'm going to defer from him. I'm going to go player for the Twins.
Spencer is correct.
Yeah.
Mickey Gasper is a utility man with a wicked mustache who's appeared in 23 games for the Twins this year at 5 different positions. He is batting 167.
I actually think, and I knew I had goofed on this immediately. I believe I saw, no, never mind. He got traded at one point. I was going to say, I thought I remembered seeing him play for the Wind Surge, but I'm wrong. I just didn't know.
Let's do a couple more. Luke Keeschel.
Oh, that's a baseball player.
Gotta be.
It is. That's a pretty big deal prospect for the Twins. Luke Keeschel just got off the injured list. He's played in 9 games and is hitting .393 for the Twins. You'll probably see him in the lineup at second base tonight, if I had to guess. I haven't seen the lineup yet. Next one, Forrest Frank.
Musician.
Yeah, musician.
He is a pretty big deal Christian artist, in fact, who has hit the top 100 with his song Your Way's Better. He's at 72 this week on the Billboard Hot 100. Last 2, Hudson Westbrook.
Oh, that's music.
Country music.
All right, guy, can't get those past you like I was hoping for.
I mean, even Brendan got it.
He's kind of blowing up.
Yeah, he's playing on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country.
Yeah.
Last one, Travis Adams.
I got
baseball.
Yeah, I'm gonna go baseball.
You guys did pretty good at this.
All
Travis
right.
Adams is a rookie pitcher for the Twins. 5 appearances, 4 in relief. He's 1-1 with a .675 earned run average.
Madam, my name is Travis Adams.
Travis Adams. Yeah. There are a lot of, like, you could really do, like, you go down the Twins roster, and they have a bunch of guys who sound like country artists. Michael Tonkin, Cody Funderburk. Hell, you know Cody Clemens is a baseball player, but would you be surprised if that was also a Billboard Hot 100 artist?
Not really. No.
Brooks Lee.
That sounds like a country musician.
They got the most country music ass roster in baseball. The Minnesota Twins.
You didn't even get to the best name on the roster. This is a guy that I actually did see in person. My guy, Zebby Matthews.
Yeah, Zebby Matthews.
Saw him last summer. Old Zebster.
Royal great Thomas Hatch is on the Twins 26-man roster as well.
I'm going to be completely honest with you.
Picked up by them.
Yes, he did.
I saw the other day Royals DFA Thomas Hatch. I did not recall Thomas Hatch being a Kansas City Royal.
He played for like 2 games.
1 inning. I think it was just 1 inning. On Friday night, he relieved Michael Wacha, gave up a 2-run home run to the guy with the mustache for the one of the guys with a mustache for Toronto.
You know who also
Barger.
Guy who is also on this roster, who is a sneaky, incredible answer on the Immaculate Grid, also sucks.
Jose Urania?
Jose Urania.
Rocky Great, Jose Urania.
He has been on 4 teams this season. His entry on Baseball Reference, including all of his stats for this year, is 7 lines long. 4 teams overall. 2 in the NL, 2 in the AL. Mets, Blue Jays, Dodgers, Twins. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. He's bad. That's why.
Yeah, dude, he sucks.
I could have gotten.
He is booty.
I bet I would have stumped you on Cole Sands. I bet I would have stumped you on.
Yeah, that would have gotten me.
Cole.
Matt Wallner. That could be a country musician.
See, that's another. I saw him play in Wichita.
Yeah, like he's.
I remember him.
He's like probably their 3rd or 4th best hitter right now left on the roster.
That dude is like
he's very big.
He's 214.
2006 baseball.
OPS over 800. Don't look at batting average with that guy.
Huge, can't move, plays a corner, mashes.
This says 6'4". I don't believe it. I think Wallner looks like he's 6'7" up there. He looks like Richie Sexton. He's a giant man. Anyway, this has been Twin or Billboard Hot 100 artist, the new game that is sweeping the nation.
I think we have talked more Twins baseball in the last 20 minutes than any sports talk station in Minnesota in the last month.
No, that is. I bet they talked a lot about him on trade deadline day to rip them.
Yes,
and say,
that's probably true.
We're not going to talk about these guys anymore because who the hell are these bums? But say all that to say this. This is a roster full of guys who basically just got called up from St. Paul or are like big league tweeners. Their best player and best pitcher are not active. Unfortunately, the Royals do have to face Joe Ryan tonight. And Joe Ryan kills the Royals, as everyone is fully aware.
This game will end 1-0. I don't know who's going to win, but it'll be 1-0.
It very well might. It very well might. We'll take a time out here at 580 Sports Talk. Come back with What Is Wrong With You right after this. It is time for What Is Wrong With You here on 580 Sports Talk. Presented as we attempt to find a weekly winner this week. Our winner yesterday, Brendan, you weren't around for Operation Bear Claw. 4 folks in Los Angeles County who made some fraudulent insurance claims, said their cars were scratched up by a bear. It was just a guy in a bear suit with some meat claws, scratching up their luxury vehicles. And they had video, and they turned it into the insurance companies. Uh-huh. And the 3 different insurance companies paid out more than $300,000 in reimbursements. But the Bureau of Insurance reviewed the Department of Insurance reviewed the video. Like, it kind of looks like a guy in a bear suit. And then to double check, they consulted a biologist from the California Department of Fish and Wildlife who told them, yeah, that's definitely a bear costume. That is not a bear.
So did they know this guy?
We don't know.
Were they committing fraud?
Well, they must have known who it was because they found the suit at one of the suspects' house.
Okay. And yes,
you should have burned that suit.
Yeah, you got to dump it. You got to make sure no one ever finds that. That's awesome. Yeah, they've all been charged with counts of insurance fraud and defrauding an insurer. That feels redundant.
Paul made the same joke I made yesterday, the Danny Duffy reference. It's a bear suit, Joel.
Oh man,
it was a bear suit.
That's awesome. That's great.
Operation Bear Claw is our current champ. We got 2 news stories today. I'll go first. If you owe a woman named Janice Oney from Maryland money, pay her, because a guy owed her $7 and she started a fire at his house. The 51-year-old Oney faces a slew of charges, including first and second degree arson, malicious burning, reckless endangerment, malicious destruction of property, and theft of less than $100. The fire broke out July 3rd. A man who lived in the 300 block of Penn Street in Salisbury, Maryland, told authorities that Oney, someone he'd known for several years, was at his home when she became upset after demanding $7 she claimed he owed her. They are said to have argued before she left. She soon returned minutes later with a bottle of gasoline, setting the front door on fire before fleeing on a bicycle. I don't know why that detail's so funny to me. But it's really funny to me.
No, the bicycle, I think, is the funniest escape vehicle.
She's very slowly getting away, Chief. The fire did not spread far. The occupant extinguished it by the time the fire department and the fire marshal arrived. Evidence reportedly pointed to Oney intentionally setting the fire. Surveillance footage from the area linked Oney to the incident.
This woman looks like if Angela Bassett got on some real hard times.
Yeah, man. Just look, $7.
Yeah, not worth it.
First of all, you got $7. Come up off your $7. Pay the woman her money.
I agree with that.
Second of all, if you feel like somebody might be capable of burning down your house if you owe them money and won't pay up, pay up.
I agree, but also
it's an unnecessary escalation.
$7.
Yes, definitely falls into the unnecessary escalation file on What Is Wrong With You, which are some of our favorite stories.
Like, someone owes you $7 and they won't pay up. I think it's reasonable to get revenge by like signing up their email address for some horrible spam. Like, yeah, that is justified for $7. Burning their house down,
bit much.
A little much.
Bit much.
Or like not talking to them, not helping them with anything they need help with. Like,
that's tough.
All right, Spencer, your story today, please.
Yeah, this one kind of has to also do with bears.
Oh.
One thief thought he could outsmart Smokey the Bear, but he couldn't. Florida Agriculture Commissioner Wilton Simpson is tipping his hat to the state's agricultural law enforcement team on July 30th for apprehending a suspect accused of stealing Smokey the Bear signs from state forests and hawking them online for nearly $2,000 apiece. The alleged thief, whose identity has not been released, reportedly made the trek from Pensacola to Orlando, targeting iconic wildlife prevention signs in protected forest areas. According to Commissioner Simpson, the stolen signs bearing Smokey the Bear's unmistakable message surfaced on Facebook Marketplace, priced at a whopping $1,900 each. Commissioner Simpson's, Florida's 13th Commissioner of Agriculture, said, "What happens when dumb criminals poke the bear? They get burned."
So Smokey the Bear himself was present at the arrest. We're going to put the picture up on our YouTube channel because We've had some great visuals lately. This is right up there with them. Smokey the Bear. Yeah, this is what we do to people who mess around.
Yeah, man, that's
only you.
If Smokey the Bear himself is thrown in the clink, man.
That's jacked Smokey too. Like Smokey,
I think he's on a cycle.
Smokey's on gear. Just doing a lot of incline press, a lot of rows.
Smokey got that Balco phone number. Smokey's been hanging around 1998 WCW wrestlers.
Yeah, forest fires are hot. You know what else is hot? My urine sample.
By the way, they really screwed up by taking Sam Elliott off of the role of Smokey the Bear's voice.
100%.
Wait, they did?
Yeah, he doesn't do it anymore. No offense to Brian Henry, who is the new voice, but
so that's a great story and a great visual, and it wins today. But I don't think it's taking down Operation Bear Claw, which again we will put on the YouTube channel for people to take a look at the bear suit that allegedly.
Bro, you gotta like put that in the lake or something. You gotta. That thing's never.
Buy another one with your $300,000 in fraudulent insurance money.
I think what you do is you leave the suit in the forest and hope some idiot forest ranger's like, oh my God, they eviscerated the bear. And you just hope that they get away from it.
Case closed, everybody. That bear won't be terrorizing any luxury vehicles in this neighborhood again. The culprit has been compromised to a permanent end.
Oh, man.
Meat claws.
That's tremendous. That's a great story.
That is a really good story. And it is our weekly champion on What Is Wrong With You. We will step aside for a timeout. When we come back, one question for every rookie from the Chiefs 2025 draft class about to make their Chiefs debut tomorrow night in the preseason opener. That's next on 580 Sports Talk. It's 4:40 on 580 Sports Talk. Dan, Brendan, Spencer hanging out with you on this Friday. 785-272-9429, the text line. Curious what you're looking for or looking forward to from the Chiefs preseason opener tomorrow night against the Cardinals. 7 o'clock kick, 6 o'clock pregame over on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. Will be preempted over here on 580 WIBW by Royals Baseball. 7 rookies will be debuting for the Chiefs. Josh Simmons, Omar Norman-Lott, Ashton Gelati, Jalen Royals, Noel Williams, Jeffrey Bassa, Brashard Smith will all see, or expected to see anyway, their first snaps with the Chiefs uniform on in a real game. A preseason game, but a real game nonetheless. Have you found yourself, Brendan, referring to Jalen Royals as Eddie by accident? Because I've done that a lot on this program.
I have not, but I find that very funny. Eddie Royal was a nice player.
Eddie Royal was a nice player. Virginia Tech, Denver Broncos, I think the Chargers. Bears. Bears too? I forgot about his Bears career.
Yeah.
Anyway, apparently when Jalen Royals has made plays at Chiefs camp, the fans break into chants of "Let's go Royals," like at the Royals game.
That's funny.
I really enjoy that. I really appreciate that. Anyway,
we really need him to like throw out the first pitch or something.
I wish they'd given him like either number. I wish they'd given him number 85.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of folks say
championship season on his back. Obviously, they weren't going to give him 15, but 85.
Why? Does someone already have it?
Yeah, somebody's got some. That one's spoken for. That one's being worn, and then it's never going to get worn again.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably true.
That's one of those.
If he retired today, would they retire his number?
Yes, I think they would.
They definitely would.
I think they would. I mean,
even if they didn't do it officially, they would not allow anybody to wear it.
They should put him in the Ring of Honor just now. They should put those names up there already. Just let people enjoy them for longer.
Yeah.
I
think that's fine.
In the Ring of Honor. Anyway, well, it's a long way for these rookies to the Ring of Honor, certainly. But first time we're going to get to see him in action at game speed. And I have a question for all 7 Chiefs rookies. First one for Josh Simmons is, how much does he play? Do they want to get him up to game speed to the extent where he sees some snaps when Gardner Minshew is on the field? He sees some snaps with some different offensive line personnel? Or is Josh Simmons treated the same as Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith and Jawan Taylor? And I think Kingsley Suamataia will be treated, which is you're the starting O-line, and when Mahomes is out of there, so are you. And we'll play our starters. Our starters are our starters, and we put the second team in after that. But you are a nailed on. We're not worried about your conditioning. We're not worried about needing to get you snaps. You are our starting left tackle.
I'll give you a bold prediction here. I think it's more likely that Simmons is done early than Suamataia. And
I would agree with that.
It might be a guarantee that Suamataia is done with the ones. And if that's the case, fine, great. You're already ready to go with your ones. No, I think Simmons has won the job. I think it's over. And you're at a point, if he has won the job and you are for sure going to have him starting at left tackle week 1, just because he's recovered well to this point doesn't mean you need him taking extra hits. So I think you take him out right away. I think that's done. I think that one is in Sharpie at this point.
Yeah, my expectation, if you ask me, I think he's coming out with the starters. I think once you've seen Patrick Mahomes' last snap, you've seen Josh Simmons' last snap. And I think it's a really good sign.
I'm with you.
Anyhow, for the second round pick, Omar Norman-Lott, when does he get snaps? Do we see him on some early downs, or do we strictly see him in second, third down passing situations? Is he going to be treated out of the gate like the pass rush specialist, or are we going to get to see him in some different situations in his first game?
That's a tougher question for me.
Yeah.
I hope we see him on first down, because I understand that might not be his strength right now on neutral downs or run heavy downs, but I feel the same way about defensive linemen with that sort of question, the way I do about young position players in baseball. Well, he can't hit lefties and they're starting a lefty, so we can't play him. Well, yeah, if he never faces one, he's never it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy at that point. Now, if you get enough data that, he just literally cannot do it, okay, well then fine. It's not going to work out and that guy's a platoon player. Or, okay, that does not work out. You don't want Mike Pennell on obvious passing downs. I love Mike Pennell. You don't want him in there on 3rd and 10.
Mike Pennell's the Derrick Nottie role. He's in there, first down, 3rd and short. He's your plugger.
Yes.
Jerry Tillery can do a little bit of a little bit more than just that. How much more are we going to see Omar Norman Latu?
I hope we see a lot of it, honestly. And again, that's more preference than it is necessarily having a concrete idea. But I would much rather see him out there. You're never going to get better at it if you don't actually do it. And I think he is too young and too inexperienced to not give him a chance to do that. Like if he was a 5th round pick and okay, you're a space eater, or okay, you're a DPR, a designated pass rusher from the inside. Okay, fine. Yeah. But a guy you drafted that early, I think you need to give him chances to prove he can improve at it.
For the 3rd round picks for the Chiefs, Ashton Gelati. I think for him, my question is, can you win reps? Like, I want to see him win some one-on-one pass rush reps. Like, I want to see him defeat offensive linemen at the line of scrimmage, get off blocks. I'm not fussed about number of sacks, number of tackles. That's not really important. But I need to see him do that. I need to see him have some decisive wins at the point of attack, because if he can do that, that puts him in position where he's going to play quite a bit, I think, as a rookie, where I know it was the first depth chart of the season, but he was already ahead of Felix Henrique, who's not on that depth chart. He's going to stay ahead of Felix. It involves him winning one-on-ones and winning decisively, not just winning with his motor, winning with extra effort, just being able to win with his get-off.
And to further that point, because I'm in agreement with you, I don't care who it's against. Oh, I did it against a 3rd-string tackle. I don't care. That's fine. That does not bother me. I just want to see him do it because he's a rotational guy this year. I don't think and look, if he turns into more than that, great. If he's a starting caliber player, I don't think anyone is expecting that from him right now. So I'm totally fine seeing, all right, we know he has enough moves, he has enough power, enough speed to make it shake against someone. He's going to be in on only a 1/3 of the snaps, whatever it is. That's fine with me. So I'm right there with you, and I do not care who it's against. I don't care if it's in the 1st quarter, 3rd quarter, 1st string, 3rd string, does not matter to me.
As for Noel Williams, where does he line up? I project we'll see him primarily on the outside. Is he the boundary corner? Is he the field corner? Who does he play with? And how much of him do we see into the second half? Like, is he seen as a guy who is going to get a lot of like second half reps, or is he seen as a pretty solid like second team defensive back option? They got a ton of DBs in camp right now. Is he going to play some 3rd quarter snaps, or is he going to play primarily those first half snaps where, like we talked about earlier, if you're playing in the first half and you're watching the second half of the first preseason game, you feel like your ticket to the 53 has already been punched?
Williams is one of those guys I think we can see more of in the second half, and it doesn't necessarily mean he's a bubble guy. I think he's the kind of player you just need to see reps from, in my personal opinion. And Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, Dave Merritt, they might feel completely differently. That's another guy, too. I just want to see some good out of him. I don't care who it is against. I don't care against what level of quarterback the Cardinals are going to throw out there. I just want to see him get some reps, because I do believe they're going to need to rely on him at some point. And I mean, Fulton is getting a little bit better, but he's been banged up.
He's not going to play.
No, I know. But when we get to the regular season,
right.
I mean, that's something that I think you need to have in consideration. And you want a guy who's as experienced as possible. You can only get so much experience in 3 preseason games, but I want to see Williams get as many reps as possible. So he's the kind of guy, honestly, once the ones are done, I would not hate to see him for 3 quarters tonight.
Yeah, I would agree. I think to me, it goes back to kind of, Brennan, what you said about Christian Fulton and not knowing, like, I said this months ago. I said that I don't necessarily know that I was happy with the cornerback room, because Fulton seems to be an opt-in injured guy. So
you have to
make sure that your guys behind him are ready to go if they need to play 3-4 straight games without him.
There's a difference between depth and functional depth.
Yes.
And I think the more game speed reps Williams gets, the more likely it is that is effective depth.
Jalen Royals, the 4th round pick. I guess I have 2 questions for him. Like, does he see any time with the ones? I'd be fascinated if he gets any time with, I think he should, frankly. If Hollywood Brown and Rashee Rice aren't going to play the preseason opener, we should see Jalen Royals with the ones. So if we have that question kind of answered for us, what kind of routes are we seeing from Jalen Royals? Are they sending him over the middle? Like, what are we seeing from him? Is he in motion? How is he deployed? Is he deployed in a fashion that is similar to Rashee Rice? Because that's been the talk of camp. That's how they deploy him.
Yeah, that's, I think, a really good question to ask. And that's one that I don't think we'll know until we actually see him, because what he did at Utah State was not especially useful in projecting what he can be as an NFL player. And that's not just for Royals. That's for anyone who's in one of those offenses where you generally only play on one side of the ball, and you literally, some say offense, defense, offensive side of the ball, defense side of the ball. No, like you literally are either always on the right side or always on the left side of the offense. He did that when he was at Utah State. That's not usually a good predictor of role in the NFL. So I'm curious about that. I don't know if I have an answer or a prediction for it, but I am curious to see where they move him around to.
Yeah. Jeffrey Bassa, the 5th round pick. I want to see if he's getting core special team snaps in the first half of the game.
I have to imagine he will.
If he's got a chance to usurp Cam Jones and Jack Cochran, who are more veteran guys, but Jones and Cochran haven't been guys you've really trusted to get on the field for the defense, where I think with Bassa, that's the idea, is that he's a guy who could be a defensive piece for the long term. Does he have a chance to jump Jones and Cochran in the depth chart with his special teams abilities? And then the last guy, Brashard Smith, do we see him in the first half? I think it's going to be very telling. Do we see Brashard Smith on offense in the first half? Because if we're seeing him strictly in the second half, that could be a bit of a problem for him.
I think we will. I do think we will see him get snaps in the first half. Might bleed into the second half. He might still get plenty of action in the second half, but I do think we'll see him before the break.
We will take a break. We are due for a break. One more break in this 4 o'clock hour. When we come back, we'll play a round of Change My Mind, and that will be how we wrap up the 4 o'clock hour here on 580 Sports Talk. Change my mind time to wrap up this 4 o'clock hour, 580 Sports Talk. I didn't get to debate this with you guys on yesterday's show, so change my mind. The lineup change that moves Jonathan India down to 7th and Mike Yastrzemski or somebody else against left-handed pitching to the leadoff spot should be permanent the rest of the way for the Royals.
No, I agree completely. I mean, more than anything else, more than even playing matchups, it's just you don't want extra at-bats for Jonathan India. I think the idea of like the specific guys in specific places in the batting order is a very old school thought. And then the pendulum, I think, swung too far in common baseball discussion for a while that, well, batting order doesn't matter at all. Well, it actually does, because the guys who bat higher are more likely to get an extra at bat in every game. If the guy who makes the final out is the number 4 hitter, okay, well, 4, 3, 2, and 1 all got one more at bat or plate appearance than everybody else in the game. So that does matter. And I don't want extra at-bats to Jonathan India. If you are trying to make a last gasp effort to make it to the postseason, I'd rather give Yastrzemski or Garcia or whoever an extra chance to go to the plate and not a guy who has been kind of crappy.
Yeah. It's more runners in scoring position possibilities for India, too, and he's been one of the Royals' better hitters in those spots this year. Just doesn't get to do it very often because the bottom of the order's been so bad.
I mean, I would agree with you to this point. I think it's been very telling of the way the approach came to it from Jonathan India. Like, he was on with Goldberg after the post game the other night, after the switch, and he was like, I sat down with Q and we discussed some things, and I just want to win. I want to be here to win. I want us to win, and if in order for us to win, I have to go to the bottom of the lineup, I'm here for it. And I love that you're hearing that from a player who's not necessarily disappointed about being moved somewhere to a different spot in the lineup.
Brendan, give me a change my mind.
Real quick one. The Chicago Bears made an announcement today that they are, unsurprisingly, going to go through with their plans to build a new stadium in the suburb of Arlington Heights, Illinois, a few miles outside of Chicago. It's going to be an indoor stadium. They want to host Super Bowl, WrestleMania, Final Four, all that. Change my mind. It's not worth it.
No, it's not at the expense of the taxpayer. No.
Well, and here's the
thing. And they've done economic studies on this. Like the teams love to claim, the community's going to benefit, the city's going to benefit, and no, that's not really what happens. You get an event.
Yeah. Literally, economically, it is not worth the money. But
they've done the studies on that.
We're going to get a Super Bowl. Okay, so now there's 18 stadiums that are Super Bowl ready, and New Orleans is going to get them more often, and so is Vegas, and so is Indy. So you get one every 30 years? Is that worth it? You're going to be begging for a new one by the time you get the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Come on.
By the time you get a second one, for sure. Yeah, you get your one and like it. Yeah. Coming up at the 5 o'clock hour, we say goodbye to Brendan. Now, Brendan, it was great having you today.
Good to see you guys.
It was great to have you. In the 5 o'clock hour, we got our headlines. We're going to hear from Mitch Holthus for a taped version of our training camp reports brought to you by Hy-Vee and Azure Credit Union, and we'll preview tonight's Royals Twins tilt. That's coming up. 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Third and final hour on this Friday. That means it's the final hour of the week here on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Spencer Dupuis with you for one more hour today. Let's make it count here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And, of course, on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. Appreciate everybody in the YouTube live chat today hanging out with us, and want to hear from you on the text line as well, 785-272-9429. What are you excited about for the preseason opener for the Kansas City Chiefs? That's coming up tomorrow night as they take on the Arizona Cardinals at State Farm Stadium. Which players are you most excited to watch? Want to hear from you. The text line is 785-272-9429, or you can drop your thoughts in the live chat if you are watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. And if you aren't, and you're like outside where the heat advisory is still in effect and we're all melting, go inside, cool off, and put the show on the YouTube and watch us and jump in the chat and let us know what you're thinking. Or if you, like, if we're being honest, me, are a postseason, I don't want to say postseason football hater. I'm not a hater. Just
you mean preseason?
Preseason. Yeah, postseason football is great, actually. I like that very much. Preseason football, I don't even want to say ignorer because that's not quite right either. And obviously, I will not be ignoring Saturday's game, but just a very blasé attitude towards preseason football. If that describes you, if you're not that kind of football fan where you dial in for all four quarters of the preseason, let us know that too. We're curious. Hit us up in the comments. Hit us up on the text line, 785-272-9429. We still have headlines to get to this hour. We have a training camp report from Mitch Holthus, and it will be in absentia today. Mitch will not be able to join us live. He is en route to the Valley of the Sun, but he did leave us with a checklist for preseason game number 1 that we'll bring you as our training camp report today, brought to us by Hy-Vee and Azura Credit Union. We'll also look ahead to tonight's Royals game. Joe Ryan's dominance of the Royals beggars belief. It is hard to believe one pitcher could dominate one team as much as Joe Ryan has dominated the Kansas City Royals over time. But he has, and they're going to need to solve him tonight to get off to a good start in a 3-game series in Minnesota against the Twins. Royals and Twins tonight, 6:30 pregame, so we'll have some 580 Sports Talk overtime for you. In the 6 o'clock hour, we'll re-rack Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider, as our 580 Sports Talk overtime conversation of the day. Then we'll give it off to the Royals Baseball Network. 7:10 first pitch from Target Field tonight. It is Joe Ryan on the hill for the Twins, and he has been a exceedingly tough nut to crack for the Royals over the years. Seth Lugo is on the bump for KC tonight. Noah Cameron and Ryan Berger, your starters the rest of the weekend. Bailey Ober's going tomorrow for the Twins, and they have not announced a Sunday starter, at least to my knowledge. So,
might be a bullpen game.
It could be. All those guys that were not Billboard Hot 100 artists that we went through the in the 4 o'clock hour. Those guys are all going to pitch. Yep. It is a series the Royals should win, and we'll talk about it, bringing the lineups, break it down a little bit later on this hour. Should we start with some headlines?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's start with some headlines. Let's start with this from the NCAA, and this is, I think, really interesting to start with today. From the NCAA's official website, ncaa.org. D2 Executive Board advances proposal for 5 seasons of eligibility to convention. So the Executive Board of Division II Athletics has submitted the following eligibility proposal. So currently, if you play Division II, you have 4 seasons to participate in competition in any one sport, and you must complete those 4 seasons during your first 10 semesters or 15 quarters of full-time enrollment. So you've got 5 years essentially to play for.
Yeah.
Is what that is. Well, yeah. 5. Each year is 2 semesters. So that's 5 years. You got 4 years and you got 5 years to play. I mean, you take a redshirt year and then the way it used to work, the way we were all familiar.
5 years to play 4.
Right. the way we were all familiar with it working before COVID and before the Diego Pavia lawsuit and before they changed the rules on transfers, there was a way that we all understood that this worked. You got 4 years of eligibility. You could redshirt. You could apply for a medical redshirt in certain instances, but that was your time. The proposal being advanced and sponsored by the Division II Executive Board would permit up to 5 seasons of competition during that same time frame. It would specify that any competition, regardless of timing, counts as a season of competition unless a student athlete is transferring from a non-Division II school and does not use a season according to that school, or is a Division III transfer charged a season of participation for practice only under Division III laws. That's really confusing and difficult thing to follow. But
I have another way you could confuse it. So what if you come from D1 and you played, but you're not good, like but you want to go to D2, you got an opportunity at D2. How does that work?
So I think that it's advanced by Division II, but I think with the idea potentially that it could move up the ladder to Division I. Essentially what it says is you can play 5 seasons. You have 5 eligible competition seasons in Division II. And
to me, I think that would make a lot of sense, especially when you look at rosters, because it's so confusing. If you were just like the whole putting a red shirt on and as somebody's like class year is always so confusing. You could just go freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, grad student.
So without getting into like even more of the legalese, but 5 seasons of competition during the first 5 semesters or 15 quarters of full-time enrollment. Data from the Division II Academic Performance Census showed a shift over the years. More student athletes are taking longer to graduate. 30% of athletes who earned a degree in 2023 needed between 4 or 5 years, and 7% took longer than that. That informed the eligibility review working group's recommendation. It would also reduce the need for exceptions and waivers. So you would not need, I'm transferring. It's my 5th year of school, but I've already played 4 years, but I didn't really play one of those seasons, and I'm trying to get a waiver. No, you should play. So 5 seasons of college eligibility being proposed by Division II. And be interesting to see how the NCAA moves on that, because you could have athletes at the Division II level potentially playing up to 5 seasons. And having then not worry about, the logistics of redshirting and all of that. And you just, pursue your degree. And when you're done, you're done. And if you want to play all 5 seasons, great. If you don't, you want to graduate and go pro in something other than sports, then they're not, come up off that roster spot. Somebody else will use it. So that's the recommendation for Division II, a proposal for 5 seasons of college athletic eligibility. You've seen enough of that with the COVID year, guys, anyway, that we're almost used to seeing that by now. All right, next headline, Spencer.
Yeah, watch list season continues. We've got 3 players named a watch list between K-State and KU today. Bryce Foster from KU named to the Remington Trophy watch list, along with Sam Hecht from K-State, and then Garrett Oakley, the Remington Award watch list for the Remington Trophy is best center in college football. And then Garrett Oakley from K-State named to the Mackey Award watch list, which is the best tight end in college football. So preseason watch list honors continue to roll in for both K-State and KU.
I'm glad Sam Hecht got a nod there. I think he's a very underrated player. We look at last year's K-State offensive line, and it's true to say that by K-State standards, it was not up to standard. Like, it did not meet the typical standard. And I think that Sam Hecht was probably the rock of that offensive line in a lot of ways. I thought he was their best offensive lineman for much of the season. And you always feel good about having a returning starter at center. Like, that's a hard position to replace. You always feel good when you got a returner at center and you're trying to improve around that. It's easier, I think, to improve from the inside out than it is from the outside in sometimes. So I'm glad Sam Heck got that honor. Bryce Foster, of course, first team all Big 12 in the preseason, and got some good news on that front today. Jack Ritter over at fog.net reporting that Derrick Holthus, the offensive line coach at KU, says Bryce Foster is full steam ahead. He's going to be ready to go for week 1 or week 0 against Fresno State. He had that cleanup procedure during the summer, didn't go to Big 12 media days, didn't start practicing, and so there was some consternation about his availability, but he is full steam ahead and looks ready to play. Apparently, the injury was due to a freak accident during summer workouts that they had to go in and do a cleanup procedure, but he's ready to go, and he's one of the best centers in America, certainly one of the best in the Big 12. As far as Garrett Oakley for the Mackey Award, he's the guy coming back in America's best tight end room. It would have been a shock if no K-State tight ends were honored, and he was the guy who was the leading receiver coming back. And it's such a fascinating room because you have Oakley, who's really good in the receiving game, and you have Will Swanson, who's a well-rounded tight end. You have Will Ancio, who was a goal line weapon last year, the kid from Cape and Mount Carmel down in Wichita. You have Lincoln Cure, who everybody's excited to see get on the field. And then you have Braden Lofton, who I think might be better than Garrett Oakley and was having a breakout first half of last season. Then he got hurt. We didn't see Lofton much in the second half of last year. But if you ask me, and this is not a knock on any of the guys in that tight end room, Braden Lofton might be the best pass catching weapon in that room right now. And so there's a lot of guys in that room that need the ball, that can succeed with the ball. It's one of those good problems. You have that kind of depth in the tight end room. But very much fascinated to see how that tight end room shakes out. Garrett Oakley's going to get a lot of opportunities, but do not count out Braden Lofton. If you remember what it looked like for him in the first half of last season, I think he has the capability to have a really big year at that position as well. You're going to see a ton of 2 tight end stuff from K-State because, I just would keep the name Braden Lofton in the back of your mind as much as we think about Garrett Oakley. Next headline, we go to some preseason football injury news. Not as bad as feared for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. We talked about the 2 injuries suffered at training camp in practices yesterday. The first one, the Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater, that was as bad as feared. We told you that yesterday. It's a ruptured patellar tendon. He is out for 2025. Texans safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson also suffered an injury. It is a knee injury, but Adam Schefter reporting this afternoon that it was not as serious as it could have been, and that there's a chance he could play in the regular season opener against the Rams, which is a big deal for the Texans. We talked about how good that secondary is, and having a veteran guy like Gardner-Johnson is really what they're missing. They're super young back there. Not that doesn't mean they're already accomplished. Darryl Stingley's been an all-pro, but GJ is the veteran piece that they're missing back there, because Bullock's in his second year and Lassiter's in his second year and Petrie's still a young guy, and even Stingley's only in year 3. So he's the veteran. He's kind of the veteran glue that's supposed to hold it all together back there for D'Amico Ryans' defense. And if he's not going to miss any regular season games potentially, that's a huge boon for the Texans. It's certainly not as bad as everybody was afraid it might be yesterday. Also, a notable injury suffered in a game last night. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson dislocated a finger, taking a mighty wallop in the first quarter of their preseason game against Baltimore, but he is expected to return to practice as soon as tomorrow and shouldn't miss any time. Did you see the play in question in what ended up being a 24-16 Ravens win in that preseason game?
All I saw on social media last night was the Ravens pass rush getting to any quarterback that was playing for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And especially because Marshall great, Mike Green, got to both quarterbacks last night. So I saw a lot of it on my timeline.
Baltimore had 7 quarterback hits and 2 sacks. It was David Ojabo who got Anthony Richardson. No, it was Adisa Isaac, I think, actually. And it was clean through not a blindside hit. It was right in Anthony Richardson's face. He just flat out didn't see it. And it is more grist who do not think Anthony Richardson has what it takes to be a starting NFL caliber quarterback. And I, despite loving the tools and being excited about the athletic ability and the arm and the possibilities coming out of college, I more and more being forced to conclude that the haters in this case were correct, and that Richardson maybe can't play.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones came in relief for him. There are some revolting quarterback stats from this Ravens-Colts game. I'm looking at the Ravens quarterback numbers. Devin Leary, 3 for 12, 43 yards and a pick. Cooper Rush, 2 for 4, 16 yards and a pick. And that's the team that won. That team won the game. Revolting. That is so gross.
Yeah.
Why do people watch preseason football, man? BJ Giddens made his Colts debut in the game, carried the ball 6 times for 17 yards, had a target but did not catch the only pass that was thrown his way in that one. The other preseason games from last night, the Eagles defeated the Bengals 34-27. Joe Burrow played a lot for the Bengals in that game. He was 9 of 10 for 123, threw a touchdown to Jamar Chase, threw another touchdown to Tanner Hudson. Philadelphia, though, won the game because Tanner McKee lit it up, 20 for 25 for 252 and 2 scores for the Eagles backup quarterback. Eagles didn't play any of their starters. That will not surprise you to hear. The Raiders and the Seahawks tied at 23. That is a very preseason result.
Yeah, the broadcaster for the preseason game for the Seahawks, I think Katie Scott, I can't remember what how
I think it is Kate Scott, yeah.
She said so it was a missed field goal at the end of the game, and she said it's a tie, it'll end a tie game, much to the chagrin of Raiders coach Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I bet he would have stayed and played all night. You know, he's all about always compete and what have you. Former Kansas State Wildcat, player who transferred out of K-State, finished his college career at Missouri State, Jacardier Wright. K-State fans remember him. He's on the Seahawks roster. He had 7 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown last night. So Jacardier Wright, former K-State Wildcat, getting in the end zone for the Seahawks in last night's game.
Hey, we've got a picture of the Tom Brady statue.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
Does it look like Tom Brady?
Can I throw it up on the screen?
Sure.
All right, let me figure this out here.
You
where I gotta figure out where it is.
Okay.
Real fast. It's not here. Hold on. Where'd it go?
It's very tall.
It's in okay, so I
is he 12 feet tall, or is the whole thing with the base and his fist upraised 12 feet?
Here's a screenshot from the live stream as it's unveiled.
Great shot of his feet. Who took the screenshot? Rex Ryan?
No, I screenshotted the video that was on X.
Okay.
And they wouldn't go full screen. So
they're
trying to get him walking up to it. That's why there's yes.
Yeah, I need to see the face. I need to see the face up close to see.
Yeah, I was hoping the Patriots had like pictures of it where they would post like immediately, like they took pictures, but
all right, they're already dogging it on YouTube. I'm gonna throw a picture up here. I found a better shot of it here. Somebody said that's JFK. It does. Kind of looks like JFK, doesn't it? So there's the Tom Brady statue. You've got a KU basketball headline for us, Spencer.
Yes, I do. Earlier today, Jeff Goodman, you know him, of the Field of 68. He spoke with his pal Bill Self today, and Bill Self told him that he has a clean bill of health.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, and that he has been back at the office daily. He's back on the links playing golf, and he's looking forward to players returning in about 10 days. Quote, I don't have any coaching restrictions, end quote, said Self to Field of 68.
Well, that's great to hear.
Yes.
I'm very glad to hear that Bill has a clean bill of health, and he's doing well. And hopefully, we'll see him with no restrictions on the sideline throughout this upcoming season. Let's finish up the headlines with a look at what's on tap this weekend in sports. Got the PGA Tour's first FedEx Cup playoff event. They are in Memphis, TPC Southwind, for the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Tommy Fleetwood who has never won a PGA Tour event, currently your leader by 4 shots after going 63-64 into the weekend. 13 under par for Tommy Ladd. He's 4 shots better than a field of 3 players right now. Colin Morikawa, Akshay Bhatia, who was the round 1 leader after shooting a day 162. Justin Rose also 9 under. He's got 2 more holes to play today. Kurt Kitayama, Andrew Novak at 8 under. Scotty Scheffler, Bud Cauley, Jacob Bridgman, Maverick McNeely. Those are all real guys. Scheffler, you know. The other guys you probably don't, but they're real guys, I promise. Not playing another game with the Billboard Hot 100 or anything. Although, again, Maverick McNeely, country music artist. Missed his calling.
Yeah.
Should be on tour with Jelly Roll. Those guys are all in the top 10 as well at 7 under par. Again, this is a field that includes the top 70 players in the FedEx Cup standings. The field will be culled to the top 50 based on the results of this tournament. The top 50 play in the BMW Championship next week. Then the top 30 play in the Tour Championship at East Lake in Atlanta 2 weeks from now. Also this weekend, NASCAR is back to road racing at Watkins Glen. So congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen on his win this weekend.
I can't wait till you say that on Monday.
Yeah. A look ahead, a preview to what we'll be talking about on Monday. Congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen on his win at the Roker. Wouldn't it be something if he does? He's got to be that. I don't know. I haven't done much gambling on NASCAR. I'll be honest. I don't do a lot of betting on. Don't do a lot of NASCAR futures. But I have to imagine he is a overwhelming favorite. He is, well, he's not a minus money favorite, but up at Prairie Band Sportsbook, at Prairie Band Casino Resort, SVG is plus 150. And I got to imagine those are crazy low odds for a NASCAR winner. Something named Connor Zilish is plus 550. He must be a road race expert. And then
he's a rookie, I think.
Then you've got the usual suspects, the famous guys, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, so on and so forth. But yeah, SVG is plus 150 to win. Go bowling at the Glen.
Hey,
that's the name of the race?
No, I think it's Mission 200 at the Glen.
Or did they change it?
Is that the Xfinity? Oh no, Go bowling at the Glen is correct.
Okay, yeah. The Xfinity race is the Mission 200.
Yes.
The Cup Series race is the Go Bowling at the Glen. So the sport of bowling is sponsoring a NASCAR race.
Hey,
I love that. That's
SVG
rules.
is also favored in the Mission 200.
I bet he is.
Minus 140. Zilic is plus 100.
Oh man, he's a minus money in the minor league race. Man, look,
if he sweeps the weekend,
do what you're good at. Do what you're good at is what I say.
Yeah.
Know what you're good at and go dominate. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about an SVG victory. It will be a shock, honestly, if we aren't on Monday's edition of 580 Sports Talk when we do the winner's circle. That does it for look at what's on tap this weekend. We will step aside for a break. When we come back, Mitch Holthus cannot join us today. He is in transit, but he left us with a checklist for the Chiefs preseason opener in Arizona. It's our training camp report with Mitch Holthus coming up next on 580 Sports Talk. Our training camp reports from Mitch Holthus are brought to us by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azure Credit Union, where you can contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Naseem Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. Mitch Holthus is leaving on a jet plane today. He might be suspended in the air 30,000 feet above us right now. Who's to say? But it is a travel day for Mitch and the traveling party for the Chiefs as they get set for the preseason opener in Arizona tomorrow night against the Cardinals. Pre-game coverage starts at 6 o'clock. The kickoff at 7. Again, if you want to hear that broadcast, it will air on our sister station, the Big 94.5 Country. So Mitch not able to join us live on the program, but he left us with his game checklist. He always gives us a checklist for these road games, these road preseason games, in particular for the training camp reports. So without any further ado, this is Mitch Holthus's Game 1 preseason checklist.
It's a travel day today for the Chiefs as we all head to Phoenix and play preseason game number 1 tomorrow night against the Cardinals. Here's your checklist for things to listen for and watch for in this game. One, obviously, the offensive line, especially rookie left tackle, number 71, Josh Simmons, and second-year left guard who's moved inside, number 76, Kingsley Suamaitea. The Cardinals have a really, really good defensive front. It's going to be a big test, but also pay attention throughout the game. The Chiefs have to find good depth on the offensive line, something they did not do a year ago. The second area to focus on is the red-hot battle at wide receiver. There are 14 wide receivers in camp. The team will probably keep only 6. Number 2, Tyquan Thornton's been a camp darling, but how will he do tomorrow night in a game? And he's in a battle with kick returner Nico Remigio, number 81. Remember his 63-yard kick return in the playoffs. A sneaky wide receiver to watch, number 89, Jason Thornley. He looks like Otis Taylor wearing that number when he breaks the huddle. He's been spectacular this week in camp. Tight end, we all know about Travis Kelce and Noah Gray, but who's next? On the defensive side, it's a battle for spots in the secondary. For example, Joshua Williams is in his 4th year. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, 9 postseason wins, and right now he's trying to play his way on the team. Young players will be under scrutiny like rookie cornerback number 20, Noel Williams, and number 30, Christian Roland Wallace in his 2nd year. Finally, pay attention to every kick return by both teams. The new rules tweaked this year are going to determine games. The Chiefs need to be stellar in returns and in coverage. It's the Valley of the Sun. It's preseason game number 1, and I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Chiefs.
Thank you very much, Mitch. That, again, a training camp report from Mitch Holthus, brought to us by Hy-Vee, your official tailgate headquarters for Kansas City Chiefs football, and by Azure Credit Union. Contact Crystal Rippey, Kirsten McCall, or Naseem Khan about the credit union advantage for your next home loan. A couple of things he touched on there that we really didn't get a chance to or didn't get around to talking about as we've discussed this preseason opener. Number 1, offensive line depth. You take it for granted a little bit that your guys up front are going to be around. And then when they're not around, well, you see how that goes. It is the only thing, frankly, standing between these current Kansas City Chiefs and 5 Super Bowl championships. If the offensive line could have held up against Tampa Bay in Super Bowl 55 and against Philadelphia last year, I think the Chiefs would have won all 5 Super Bowls. I bet I'm not alone in feeling that way. They didn't win those games because the offensive line didn't hold up, because it was not the starting 5. It was a patchwork solution that got by a really great defensive line. The patchwork solutions have to be a lot more solid. You have to feel better about who you have in relief should the need for relief arise. That's why it's nice to have a guy worthy of a $15 million a year contract in Jalen Moore as your swing tackle, pushing Wanye Morris down the depth chart. That's why it would be nice to see Mike Caliendo show some improvement, or Hunter Norzad show, C.J. Hansen show a step forward from their rookie seasons as well. Those guys, you better be deep with the guys you have on hand, because that's not a position you are generally going to upgrade from the practice squad as you go along, or upgrade with off-the-street free agents. The guys you have on hand, you have to trust. So how that second team and third team offensive line performs, definitely going to be worth noticing as well. The other part we haven't really talked about, kickoff returns. And I think those are fascinating for a variety of reasons. Number 1, they are new. So it'll be a new dimension, a new aspect. And we should see more kickoff returns than we did last year when teams in the new kickoff rules they put in for last season, teams still decided, yeah, we just as soon still rather kick this thing out of the back of the end zone. Well, now that that's more punitive, the touchback line moving out even further, teams are going to have more compulsion to keep the ball in play, which means we're going to see kick returns. How do both teams do? Returning the ball and covering those returns. And for the Chiefs, Nico Remigio is listed as the number 1 returner on the depth chart. Number 2 returner is Brashard Smith. How do those two do compared with each other? And frankly, can Nico Remigio hang on with the ball? Like, hang on to the ball. That's the biggest thing for Remigio. Like, if he doesn't fumble, I think he can feel like he's got an outside shot at, or better than an outside shot at making the 53-man roster. So some notes there from what Mitch had to say with his Game 1 checklist. Again, 7 o'clock kick, 6 o'clock pregame on the Chiefs radio network. It'll air on our sister station tomorrow night, the Big 94.5 Country. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're talking Royals. You're going to hear Royals tonight here on 580 WIBW. Can they solve Joe Ryan? History says probably not. We'll talk about it next on 580 Sports Talk. At 6:30 tonight, the Royals Baseball Network takes over these airwaves on 580 WIBW, FM 104.9. First game of 3 for the boys in blue in Minnesota against the Twins, a Twins team that looks very different than the last time the Royals saw them after they traded 11 members of their 26-man roster at the Major League Baseball trade deadline. They have summarily slumped and have fallen out of the wild card picture. Now 54-60 overall. Royals come in 57-58. But there is one advantage that the Twins do have tonight, and that is that Joe Ryan is pitching. Now, you understand the thought process behind, like, the more you see a team, the better you do against them, right? Like that there's a theory there. You can think of it the other way, too. Sometimes with a pitcher, the more another team sees them, the better they do against them. So Joe Ryan has pitched against the Cleveland Guardians 11 times in his career, 10 starts, and he's had good results against the Guardians. A 3-4 record, but a 2.62 ERA, 52 strikeouts to just 9 walks in 65 and a third innings. He's pitched well against the Guardians. He's pitched pretty well against the Tigers, too. The ERA is a little high in his 9 starts against the Tigers, 3.42. But he's got a 4-2 record and 71 strikeouts to just 8 walks in 52 and 2/3 innings. So a little bit more dominant there, even with the ERA nearly a run higher. Been pretty good against the White Sox. Only 6 starts against the White Sox, which is kind of weird that he's faced them so infrequently, despite being in the same division for the entirety of his career. He's 3-0 lifetime against the White Sox, a 3.41 ERA, 38 strikeouts, 10 walks in 34 and a third innings. He's been good against the Central because he's a good pitcher. Let's be clear. Joe Ryan was an all-star this year for the first time, and I bet it won't be the last. He's legitimately excellent. What he does to the Royals is cruel and unusual. 9 career starts against the Boys in Blue. 7-0 with a 1.30 ERA. 59 strikeouts to 11 walks in 55 and a third innings. He's only allowed 31 hits to the Royals in those 55 and a third innings, only 3 home runs. That is total dominance. He does not have an ERA lower than that against any team he has seen more than once. He does not have a whip, walks plus hits divided by innings pitched, lower than 0.76 against any team that he has seen more than once. He owns the Kansas City Royals. So what do the Royals need to do tonight? Well, Mark B hits a nail on the head in the YouTube chat. Just got to outlast him. If he's going to do his thing against the Royals, make sure he's only doing it for 6 or 7 innings, and then get after the Hoodats in the Twins bullpen after they traded all their best guys, Juan Duran and Griffin Jacks, at the trade deadline. But make no mistake, Joe Ryan will pitch well tonight because that is what Joe Ryan does. He pitches well against the Royals. Here is the lineup for Kansas City tonight. You will note, once again, Jonathan India not batting leadoff. It will be Mike Yastrzemski in right field, who hits leadoff tonight, followed by Bobby Witt Jr. at short, Vinny Pasquantino at first, Michael Garcia at third, and Salvador Perez catching. Adam Frazier's the DH tonight. Still wild to me that you're in a spot where you're competing for a playoff spot, and yet designated hitter Adam Frazier is still a thing that you do. And it makes sense. Like, I might put him in the field and DH Jonathan India, but still, and Adam Frazier batting 6th and DHing is not like there's a reason they're not front running in this division, right? Like there's a reason they're chasing and not front running.
There's a reason they traded for a guy like Adam Frazier.
Yes, because he was a legitimate upgrade.
Yes.
Jonathan India is batting 7th at second base, then John Raven left, Kyle Isbell in center. Another thing that moving India down the order does, breaks up the left-handers a little bit. The Royals all of a sudden got very left-handed in their outfield and at the bottom of their lineup. Their best outfield every day is Rave, Isbell, and Yastrzemski or Grichuk against right-handers or left-handers. And I think Grichuk and Yastrzemski is the platoon you want to go with because we've got a full career of evidence that Yastrzemski can't do anything against lefties. But you stack up all of those guys, and then if Adam Frazier, like, I'm knocking Frazier, but he's actually been pretty good since coming over to Kansas City. Like his at-bats have been quality. He's come through in some RBI spots. The overall numbers for Frazier, they're not super impressive, but he does have 7 runs driven in 48 plate appearances. Like he's chipped in some decent at-bats. But you've got him and Rave and Isbell and Yastrzemski, and in the bottom of the order, all of a sudden, that's super left-handed. And it gives teams a chance to match up against that really easily in the late stages of games. Well, you can't do that so easily if you break up those lefties, and dropping India in the order does do that. Royals scored 7 runs. First time they gave this lineup a whirl, or at least this alignment a whirl. They'll see how much they can do against Joe Ryan tonight. The lineup for the Twins tonight that will face Royals right-hander Seth Lugo. Country music sensation Alan Roden leading off in center field. Country music sensation Matt Wallner batting second in right field. Country music sensation Ryan Jeffers catching and batting third. Country music sensation Cody Clemens hitting cleanup in left field. Country music sensation Luke Keeschel is the second baseman batting fifth. Royce Lewis, is that country music sensation caliber name? Royce Lewis?
No, I think Royce Lewis might be like R&B singer.
Royce Lewis and the Shondells.
Yeah, like I think, it makes more sense than country.
Royce Lewis will bat sixth and play third base. Country music sensation Brooks Lee will bat seventh at shortstop. Starting left winger for the Minnesota Wild, Edouard Julien is the first baseman. He actually is Canadian. He'll play first base and bat eighth, and Mickey Gasper, country music sensation Mickey Gasper, will bat ninth and DH. At least you're not DHing a guy with a 476 OPS. I can get my jokes off about Adam Frazier DHing, but tonight Mickey Gasper is DHing for the Twins with a 476 OPS. Honest to God, Joe Ryan might be a better hitter than that. Well, may as well let Joe Ryan hit. Seth Lugo could use a bounce-back outing. Wasn't real good his last time out. Time before that, he was awesome for 5 2/3 innings against Atlanta, and then the wheels fell completely off. So we're still looking for the first quality start since signing the 2-year contract extension for Seth Lugo. So this is a big outing for him. I mentioned the anticipated starters for tomorrow. Noah Cameron for the Royals, Bailey Ober for the Twins. Then on Sunday, it'll be Ryan Bergert for Kansas City. Twins have not announced who will start. That game, by the way, a 12:05 Central Time first pitch.
Early. Is that Apple? No,
Roku.
Sunday
has the
morning.
Sunday morning package.
Yeah.
So I think you can still download the Roku channel app to your Fire Stick or your Apple TV. I don't know if you can or not. But if you have a Roku device and you have the Roku channel, you can watch the Royals on Sunday. You got a Roku, right?
I have Roku TV.
There you go.
Shout out Roku TV.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, if you got a smart TV, it's already got Roku built in. You watch the Royals on Sunday morning, a little earlier than you might be accustomed to watching some Sunday baseball.
Way, but
yeah, I am too. But no, it's another
that was the most confusing thing to me when they made this deal. I just think it's odd.
So it initially started the Sunday morning leadoff, I think is what they call it.
Yeah,
it started Peacock.
That's what I was going to. Yeah,
2 years, I think, and then it shifted last year over to Roku, which it sounds real smells like broke for Major League Baseball to have a streaming deal with the Roku channel.
Yeah,
but you can watch it if you have a Roku streaming device. You have the Roku channel app on. I think you get the Roku channel app on your phone and watch it if you want. But
probably.
I actually really like the idea of a Sunday morning package. I like the early start for a game. I think conceptually there's a lot to like about this. But again, it's another, where do I find the Royals game? I want to watch my favorite baseball team. Now I got to know another place to go stream and find it. I understand. There's an article today, I think at SI, Sports Illustrated, Jimmy Traina, his media column that he does, where he said, look, if you're a sports fan at this point, just go back to having cable. You try to do the cord cutting thing and you try to have all of the streaming apps that you need to watch sports. At this point, cable's cheaper.
Yeah, and plus a lot of cable companies will give you Peacock or something.
Yeah.
If you they run promos all the time where you get this with this.
The ESPN app, if you have ESPN on cable, you're not going to need to subscribe to their new $30 a month deal. So you get all the ESPN stuff. Anyway, Royals tonight, 7:10 first pitch. Tomorrow, 6:10 first pitch. And then on Sunday, 12:05 first pitch. Watch it on Roku or listen to it right here on 580 WIBW. We'll take a break, come back with a final word next. It's our final word of the week, so let's make it a good one, Spencer Dupuis.
Yeah, excited to see what the rookies do for the Chiefs tomorrow in their first preseason game. Obviously, Andy Reid says quarter for every depth level, including starters, but we know there's no way the starters are playing a full quarter tomorrow. I'd be interested to see how long Josh Simmons stays in the game at left tackle, though. I'm interested to see what the early returns are from the rookies after preseason game number 1, which you can hear on our sister station, the big 94.5 country pregame coverage tomorrow night from the Chiefs Radio Network at 6 p.m. Kickoff at 7.
Final word for me. Preseason game number 1 is 1 goal. Don't get anybody hurt. That is the primary aspect that you are most concerned about. But certainly some positions where the Chiefs are still sorting out depth, still sorting out the back of their depth chart. Wide receiver will be interesting in that regard. Defensive back, certainly offensive line, developing that depth. Running back is another one. I want to see Brashard Smith show well in his first game. Everything I've heard tells me this is not another Derrick Prince sort of situation where he's the talk of camp, but he gets into games, he can't really do anything, and then you never hear from Derrick Prince ever again. I think there's a lot more ceiling for Brashard Smith, but I'd like to see it in practice. I'd like to find out if Elijah Mitchell has any of that burst from when he was a younger player. I want to see who the third down back is, if the Chiefs think they even have one right now, and how that might inform their roster building. There is a lot to watch with those with the eyes to see and the desire to sit and watch preseason football. For me in my house, it'll be on DVR. I'll whip through that sucker in 45 minutes, maybe on Sunday morning before some Royals baseball. That'll do it for us, but we do have some overtime coming up here in just a little bit. For Brendan Dworzinski and Spencer Dupuis, I am Dan Lucero, and this is 580 Sports Talk. Good night.